Latin Henle, first year. Reading number 25 on page 322, all the way to page 324. This is David Rex, King David. There he is. David, vir nobilis et fortis, sicut scitis, as y'all know, Rex erat Israelitarum. That's a mouthful. Lots of vowels. David, a man noble and brave or strong, as y'all know. This is from Ostmost Tisn't. The tis, second person plural, we don't see very often. So, as y'all know, was the king Israelitarum. It's a hard one. Of the Israelites. Israelitai, the Israelites autem, bellum cum Philistinis gerebant. The Israelites, however, moreover, now, can translate this autem with whatever makes the most sense. We're waging a war with the Philistines. Philistinis here in the plural ablative. Whenever you see a word with a PH and a TH in there, you know this word comes through from Greek. And here's an utne purpose clause. Ne agri sui ab ace occuparentur, lest their own fields, and occuparentur is in the passive subjunctive perfect tense, third person, plural. So we have our occuparent. Sorry, it's an imperfect. I said perfect. Imperfect is the second principal part, occupare, with the Ostmost Tisn't ending tacked on to the second principal part to make the imperfect subjunctive. And then we add the to make it passive. So lest their own fields might become occupied by them. Ab ace here is in the plural ablative. Philistini autem Bethlehem tenebant. The Philistines, however, were holding Bethlehem. We have castra enim ibi posuerant. All right, posuerant is in the pluperfect. That verb poneo, ponere, posui, positus. Posui is the third principal part, from which we can form our perfect system, the perfect, pluperfect, and future perfect. For the perfect tense, we add e isti it, imus istis erant. For the pluperfect tense, we add eram, eras, erat, eramus, eratis, erant. And that's where we get this verb, posuerant. Third principal part with erant is the pluperfect. They had placed castra, the camp, ibi, there. So this full sentence is, for they had placed the camps there. That's in Bethlehem. David comparva hominum manu erat in praesidio et non longe aveorum castris afuit. David with parva manu. These are in the ablative, so they're the object of my preposition cum. And remember, the word manu manus normally means hand, but it can be used to refer to a hand, like a farm hand, tool hand, or here a small band of men. So David with a small band of men was in the praesidio. It's like the camp or the praesidium, and non longe was not far from. Here's afuit. That's the verb I supplied here. Non longe, he was not far. This is from the verb ob esse, obsum, ob esse. Afui, afuturus. It's to be away from.
No. Don't do that. No. Thank you.
He was not far from the camp of them. So they like to double up those prefixes there, preposition and prefix, far away and from them. Praesidium ibi collocatum erat, ut David et suos defenderet et cognosceret quae ab hostibus gerentur. The Praesidium there was collected, or was gathered, in order that David and his own, suos here is a reflexive, might defend and might know what was being waged by the enemy, what was being planned. Gerentur here again is in the imperfect subjunctive passive. Gerere is the second principal part with the nt ending on there, makes it imperfect subjunctive, and then the ur makes it passive. In castris autem Israelitarum erat magna aquae inopia. However, in the camp of the Israelites, there was a large, opposite of copia, supply, is inopia, unsupply, or scarcity. There was a large scarcity of water. Propter id magnum dolorem et David et milites sustinebant. On account of this, it's the impersonal id, David and the soldiers, so et David et milites, both David and the soldiers were sustaining great sadness. In Bethlehem autem, quod a Philistinis tenebatur, erat aquae copia, opposite of inopia, copia. However, in Bethlehem, which was being held, so tenebat is he was holding, tenebatur is the passive, was being held, ablative of agent, by the Philistines, there was a supply of water. Itaque David si haberem inquit aquam de cisterna quae est in Bethlehem. Therefore David said. Again, that said, an indirect quote always comes after a few words. Si haberem here is translated as if I might have. This is a subjunctive exhortation, exhortatory subjunctive, expressing a wish. If I might have water from the cistern which is in Bethlehem. So in English we say, if only I might have the water. But literally it says, if I might have. Cum vero ea a militibus audita essent. Truly, when this was heard, so here's a cum clause. When this was heard by the soldiers, that is expressed in the subjunctive in Latin as well. So when audita essent. This is a passive perfect subjunctive, third person plural. So we use the fourth principal part of audio, audire, audivi, auditus. This is in the feminine to agree with its subject ea. When this little speech that he said. So we use the feminine of auditus, the fourth principal part. You can use masculine, feminine, or neuter, and decline it according to what part of the sentence it is. It is mostly in the nominative. But so here we have the feminine nominative singular, audita, and then its helping verb. Normally, if we were not passive or subjunctive, we'd use sum est sunt for the perfect tense passive. We'd use eram, erat, eras, erat, etc. for the pluperfect, and then ero, eris, erit for the future perfect. Here, we are in the subjunctive, so we're using the second principal part, sum esse fui futurus, that second principal part esse with a personal ending, to make our subjunctive passive. Alright, so when this was heard by the soldiers, truly, tres fortes viri, 3 brave men, clam secretly, ad castra hostium, to the camp of the enemy, pervenerunt, arrived. They secretly arrived at the camp of the enemy, ut aquam ad regem portarent, in order that they might carry water to the king. Magnum erat periculum, great was the danger, or the danger was great, you can translate either way. Tamen a custodibus hostium visi non sunt. However, by the guards of the enemy, visi non sunt. There's another passive. Perfect passive. Fourth principal part, video, videre, visi, visus. That visus, fourth principal part, in the plural, nominative masculine. Plus eoum o, e orum isos is. Visi. It's plural because we're talking about 3 soldiers. Visi non sunt. So it's in the negative. They were not seen. Itaque aquam ad regem tutti portaverunt et dederunt. So they were not seen by the guards of the enemy, therefore they carried safely water to the king, and to him they gave. Rex vero cum aquam vidicet. There's another cum clause that takes the subjunctive. Vidicet. This is a pluperfect subjunctive, the hissing endings. Vidicet. Truly the king, when he had seen the water, eorum virtute et amicitia vehementer motus est. This is so shaky. He was moved. Motus est, he was moved violently, vehemently. And here's 2 ablatives of agent, by means of the virtue and friendship of them. Per loca enim periculorum plena in castra hostium pervenerunt, ut ad eam aqua portaretur. Just kind of restating what happened. 4, through the location full of danger, into the camp of the enemy they arrived, in order that to him they might carry, or it might be carried, water might be carried. It's in the passive again. Scivit rex, quanto in periculo propter se fuissent. The king knew, this is just regular perfect tense from the third principal part, in how much danger on account of himself they had been. This is an indirect statement. He knew how much they had been. Itaque, so that's why we use the subjunctive there. Therefore, eis gratias eget. Therefore, to them he did thanks, said, but aquam in terram domino libavit. It's a new word, libavit. It's where we get the word libation, or drink offering. But the water onto the ground, here's the dative, to the Lord he poured out. David enim, for David, inquit, said, the Lord be merciful to me, that I may not do this. Shall I drink the blood of these men that went at the peril of their lives?